How the heck are you, everybody? I am Fastidious. Welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to answer the question, well, two questions really. One question I've been asked non-stop lately, and that is, when is Dahlia's banner coming? I think I have a pretty clear answer on that. And another question that people still are asking me, should you summon for Dahlia? So in this video, I'm going to give my early opinions on both of those. I think I've got pretty clear answers for both. I think it's kind of, for most players, cut and dry if you should do it. And I do think I know when it's going to be pretty darn soon. All right, guys, let's get into it.
Fastidious.
Fastidious.
All right, straight to the point. So many people keep asking me when I think the banner's going to be. I know Destined and the Leak Boys postulated, hypothesized, had a hunch that it was going to be this coming weekend that just passed. Obviously, it didn't happen. So when do I think it's going to be? I think pretty clearly it is this coming weekend, or maybe even more likely the weekend after that. But I would be shocked, and you can hold me to this. You can just say I was so wrong. You can spam my comments. I would be shocked if it is not. Let me move myself up so we can see the calendar. If it is not this coming weekend, so that would be the weekend of May 31st or the following weekend, June 7th. I would be completely shocked. And I don't know. We can think of something silly I'll have to do if I'm wrong. There's no way I'm going to be wrong. Just based on conversations I've had with our dev contact, information I'm getting, just the way past trends seem to point, I just don't see it being possible. So let me actually pull up some more evidence. So here we've got the previous two limited guaranteed 250 summons to get the hero banners. And these are, I'm just using my videos because that's how I have my kind of my timeline. That's my history of when things occurred. I post that much, that frequently. So the first one was Hex. The first one was Captain Reeve. Hex was also happening that weekend. That weekend was nuts. Can we just go back? That was the craziest freaking weekend ever. 2x by 15x on Zila 2 and Hex, and then we also had Captain Reeve, his big return. Ridiculous. But you can see here, on March 29th is when it happened. So that is tomorrow. Again, let's look. It is May 27th. 2 days from now, we'll make exactly 2 months since Reeve. And if we think of them bringing back like big kind of special event banners, first time banners, I think that would be the pacing. It has seemed to be every 2 months. Obviously, Reeve was not new, but he was so early on that the vast majority of the player base either was not playing when he first came around or did not have the opportunity to get him, like me, because you were brand new to the game. Who knew anything about saving 250 summons worth of diamonds? So either that situation, or he was just brand new to the vast majority of the player base, because he was very early on, right? It was like the end of August, beginning of September, back when they did that. And then if we think of Falsia, that wasn't a big event. People weren't too hyped for that. She came a bit later. So even though it was a rerun, it wasn't the same spectacle. If you think of Lust was towards like the beginning of February, then about 6-7 weeks later, we had Reeve. And now if Dalia is to come next week, it will have been about 8-9 weeks. Afterwards would be 10. So that is a bit longer, but we did have Falsia to break it up. So I think very, very, very likely that's when Dalia will be. More evidence here. You can see this was on April the 25th. So let me pop up in my calendar really quickly to see what day of the week that was. This is like my should you summon about Falsia. So you can see that was a Thursday. Her banner came, it had to be the next day. So it was on the 26th. That was about exactly a month ago. That was a month and a day ago. So I think if they're going to do this every month kind of thing, it easily could be this coming weekend. But you can see the pattern. It would be shocking if it wasn't, if not this coming weekend, the weekend after. So that's the information I think most of you guys probably want to know and why you clicked on this video. I also have been hearing stuff about, hey, they want our input on Dalia lately. That makes me think, all right, she's coming. And also, yeah, you can see it's going to be the weekend of the 31st or June the 7th. So without a doubt, honestly, without a doubt, freaking flame me. So now the other big question, should you go after her? A lot of people are disillusioned by her range. Her range is weird as hell. It's also worth showing you when she is at max promo. It's a full 5 tiles. Go check out my testing video. I go into the nitty gritty. As I see it right now, there's only really 2 uses for her. Gear Raid 1 progression, where she's phenomenal. I'd say Boreas is by far the best in the game, but I think if you don't have very good gear, she's like as good as like a Comet. The burst damage is really significant. Maybe her DPS isn't like toe-to-toe with Comet, but with everything else she brings, enabling cultist cons with all the slows, with how easy it is to build her, it's pretty straightforward, and get those poisons going, that continuous damage, get those slows going. She's exceedingly powerful. I was shocked by how easily I cleared 121 with her as a main DPS. Go check out that video if you guys want to. That, again, was in the testing video. I was very thorough with my testing. I think with other stuff right now, she's not going to shine. She really isn't. People have talked about in Arena that you could place her on one of those tiles. Let me see if I can pop open Arena really, really quickly just to show you. I don't care about the fight or who I'm using or anything. Let's just enter. Let's just start. But yeah, this tile kind of down here, and you can point her up. People have talked a lot about that. I don't see that being so viable. She's too expensive, even if you use a Cyrene or a Dallin or something. People are talking about, we'll wait till we get 12 costs so we can show you with Silas. You can put her down here, right? And basically, she can't put here, and she does get 6 tiles. So 1, 2, she could put her blossoms there. It's something. I think that's going to be some real early mid-game kind of stuff. Most people are not going to go for that. Most people want to attack bright and early right here. You can't afford to have her slowly generating blossoms. She's 21 costs. I don't think it's going to work. One place where she actually could be amazing is GVG defense, particularly in like when you're defending not just the normal bastions, but whatever they call it, the fortress, the main people in the keep, when you have the special maps, the ones inside of the semicircle. Absolutely, I think she could be really good there. The cost obviously doesn't matter for those GVG defenses. So why do I think most people should go for her? And that is my big conclusion. I still think the vast majority of players should go for her. I think because she's so unique. And if there's anything we learned, I actually was just on stream and I just beat Gear Raid 5 Stage 6, the hardest content in the game. And for my specific account, Brokier works really well tanking the bottom, but for my specific account, I needed to use Edith. Edith, who sucked 4 weeks ago or whatever, right? But then they add new content, and Edith has something very, very unique about her kit, and it fit perfectly into the new content. Dahlia has something shockingly unique. And I want to tell you about another game. Let me actually pop this open. I can show you. There's a character called Ifrit in Arknights. Arknights is the only other tower defense I ever played before this. This is what she looked like if you're curious. Maybe because this is the wiki, they will show us her range. Ifrit had a very similar range. She was a mage, a platformer, with a long, straight range. It doesn't look like it's popping up here. And the maps were a little more sophisticated or varied, I would say, in Arknights, even though I do think Watcher Realms is a much better game. Honestly, it really, really is. The hero building there was no hero building in Arknights, but that's a story for another day. But Ifrit was a superstar. She was someone you really needed. She wasn't that hard to get, but she was someone you really needed for a lot of content. Anyone that played Arknights, let me know in the comments. She really was, because that big, long, straight line with certain maps is amazing. The problem with Watcher Realms is we don't really have those maps right now, but who's to say they're not to come? So I know for some of you, this is a tough pill to swallow, this kind of speculative summon sesh that you're going to have to embark on, and this investment of resources for something that you probably won't see an immediate return on. But if there's anything we know there's 2 other gear dungeons coming, Gear Raid 6, Gear Raid 7, aka Gear Dungeon 3, Gear Dungeon 4. We know those are coming soon. I would predict the third one, right? The third Gear Dungeon, aka Gear Raid 6, that's got to be coming within the next 2 months. Probably not the next update, but the update after. That would be my prediction. I would not be surprised in the slightest if they have some kind of map where people serpentine like this, and wouldn't you know it, there's a platform at the bottom where you could just point her straight up, blossom, 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 something like that. Couldn't you see that? If you don't go for her and you can afford to do it, whether because you have the real life money or you save the resources, I think you absolutely have to do it. And again, I understand why that's a tough pill to swallow. So if you do want to skip, I get it, but you don't want to be the one left holding the water when everyone else is cruising through content that's going to come because you decide not to go for it, and then look at that, I was right, they added it. I know that sucks, and honestly, I think it's not a cool move by Moonton. It's weird. In games like Eternal Evolution, it kind of crumbled because they would make a problem and sell the solution. I feel like here, we're kind of selling the solution to a problem that doesn't exist yet, but no doubt they're going to make that problem. And I will say, something else that makes me a little weary and makes me extra motivated to pull for her is I just beat Gear Raid 5, right? And to my knowledge, if you know of another way, let me know. For specifically Stage 6, I do not think it's possible without Hot Sit. I literally do not think it is possible to complete Gear Raid 5, Gear Dungeon 2, Stage 6 without Hot Sit. It's the only piece of content I can think of that is entirely hero dependent. The stage is actually really, really fun, but if you don't have Hot Sit, I just don't see it happening. And what if they add something like that with Dalia? I mean, first off, I think it'd be a bad idea, Moonton, if you're watching this. I think people will be up in arms. I think people will be furious. But if that does happen, you're going to want to have gotten her. So yeah, it's a weird thing. At the end of the day, I think she looks amazing. I really think she's like the best looking hero in the game. This is new. This is Mommy 2.0. She's going to synergize really well with her faction. The problem is her range is weird as hell. It's pretty clear to me now they're not going to change anything. If you're watching Moonton, I still think you should. Just a little bit of width. Or someone suggested a long time ago, she places her blossoms along a line like this, right? What if she could hit her blossom when anyone was near it, basic attack into her blossom, and it would like shoot thorns out the side? that could work, because then you could build it parallel, but then she could still have her blossoms, which are targets, something for her to attack. She can build rage that way. Because as it stands right now, it's very hard to ult with her, because there's very rarely people in her range. I think I've rambled long enough. All in all, if you have enough resources saved, if you can afford to do it, if you're not going to just hoard for anniversary, or if you're willing to swipe, I think she's someone most players should go for. I would say early mid game, you absolutely should go for her, because she's going to be a very hard carry in Gear Raid 1. There's no doubt about it. For later game players, and especially endgame players, I think it's a harder pill to swallow, because she's really not going to help you immediately. Potentially, like I said, in like the keeps in GVG. But if you don't want to be left holding the water, just to use that expression again, I think you should go for her. I'm going to go for her. We'll have a huge pulse party for it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know what you think. And like I said, I would be absolutely shocked if it's not going to be Friday the 31st or Friday, June the 7th. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Fastidious. If you like my stuff, like it, subscribe. We're almost at 15,000 subscribers. Share with your mother, and I'll see you real soon.
Fastidious.